What's going on, Sagittarius? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having an awesome week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, I'm back. Look at me. And that's because you keep coming back with your likes, your shares. I see you raising that vibration, expanding that soul tribe. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy your higher self has brought you here. You are in for an amazing journey. Now, what I'm going to be doing this week is tarot card reading for the week of November 6th through the 12th. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, okay? So, with that being said, let's jump into it. Transition flawless. I tell you, the gems are happy. It's going to be a good old party, Sagittarius. And there are also going to be 15 cards pulled. They're going to be in 5 groups of 3. The middle group is going to represent the nature of your problem. The upper left and upper right hand corners are going to be some perspectives you might, or excuse me, some future outcomes that you might be considering. The bottom left, that's where the perspectives are going to be, and how you're thinking about it in relationship to the nature of the problem. Oof. And then lastly, on the bottom right is going to be whatever messages your higher self would like you to know. And in case you all were curious, I'm using Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. The imagery on these cards are super cool, so I'll make sure to show you those all throughout. But without further ado, higher self, what do we have in store for Sagittarius this week? Let me get your cards pulled, and we will get to it. Okay. Nice. All right. Good stuff here, Sagittarius. I'm all for it. Let me get these cards kind of organized here, and then we'll get to it. Okay. Alrighty. Let's do it, Sagittarius. So, for the nature of your problem this week, pulled the Prince of Swords. And then the cards that came along with it are the Ace of Wands and the Adjustment card. Alright. So, with the Prince of Swords being the nature of your problem this week, let me preface, you're so smart. And so is the Prince of Swords. You know, the Prince of Swords, he's a very smart figure, very intelligent, but the one, I know, you hear that but coming. The one thing is, however, he can tend to, the princes represent air, the swords represent air, so he's the airiest part of air that air can produce, you know, minus the Ace of Swords. And his deal is that because of all that, you know, sometimes he has a problem with making decisions, you know, that, or he has a tendency to, he can be maybe kind of not quite in the sense of like the Queen of Swords, or excuse me, Queen of Cups, but can be a little impressionable with his energy, just because there's that lack of guidance, you know, because you have this one figure here. He looks very domineering, and I feel like that's not his normal nature. And just so we're aware too, this isn't a gender specific reading, so take this as it, you know, it applies. It's the nature of your problem. And my thing is, he looks very domineering, very intimidating, all that, like he's trying to get control or whatever. But I feel like he only looks like that is just because of lack of confidence. You know, he's overcompensating, I feel like. You know, because you got these main ones, you know, him main figure here, and then you got these 3 fairies at the bottom here. And it's just like, he's looking at them like, go! And they're like, okay, where? Going home, going to the mall, going to the movies. We did what you said, we went, and that's where I feel like the problem is. We're just going without any kind of direction. And I feel like the reason we've been going, and Virgo had a very similar kind of issue, but it's just because we have all this energy. You know, and I feel like we're getting to this place of just like, we're feeling out of whack. You know, something has kind of, I feel like this, I'm getting like this is kind of a, not necessarily a newer feeling for you, but it's one that we don't like to deal with. Because when I think about Sagittarius, you guys are about, I love hanging out with Sagittarius. You got this, I feel like you have this clarity when you know what you're going to go, when you see your target, you're going to go out and get it. Because, Sagittarius is the archer. But when you don't have a target, it's just like, what? It throws you out of whack, because that's what the adjustment card is about. It's about finding that adjustment, that balance, and kind of finding that harmony again. Because I feel like really what this is, maybe we need to just honestly just maybe slow down a little bit, right? Maybe we've been kind of just trying to rush it, try to force it. You've probably seen me in the past where I try to force things out of the rig, and it's like, what, as soon as we start relaxing, start seeing the rest of the picture, things start unfolding nicely, everything is cool, we're all happy. So I feel like with this adjustment card popping up, I'm getting a sense of that just because we have all this big energy going on, I say before we start expending that, we do need to get to this place of balance. So whether we need to find balance in between our work and home life, maybe we've been working too hard, maybe we've been playing too hard, maybe we've been putting some like maybe important matters on the back burner, because the thing too with the adjustment card, and this is only going to resonate with some, but it can represent kind of like legal matters, marriage, contracts, things of that nature. So maybe we're trying to channel our energy elsewhere so we don't have to deal with that as well, or maybe there's some pending decisions in the mix. That is another thing too. Maybe it's not something that you're not even sure about where to go. We could just even be halted by something, and that's just with and I do feel like that's just going to be from some with this adjustment card. There might be in order for us to make this big move, we got some legal things that we're possibly got to take care of. But I want to say, keep the faith with that, just because we're going to move into some future stuff here, because you got a lot of big lot of like outside stuff. When you get a lot of major arcana cards popping up, that's usually like your higher self kind of playing behind the scenes here. So no, your higher self sees you, I see you. We're going to get on the other side of the Sagittarius, and I feel like I can say that because we have the Knight of Cups here, the Star, and the Chariot. And with the Knight of Cups, my thing with the Knight of Cups is, I feel like this is, normally he's kind of like my guy of like, he just loves having fun, like he will definitely show up for all the fun loving things, is totally for it. But then anything that requires any like this stuff over here, I know you can't see quite all of it, but he's loving this top row here. But if you came at him with this bottom row, he's like, bye. But I feel like this is less of that and more of I feel like we're getting ready to rise to this occasion here. We need to get in this place where how do I want to put this? Of like where even when we're faced with challenges and we may not like it, that we still come with that strength, to that, and that courage to face it. Because with the Knight of Cups, he's supposed to represent the ocean, and this crab here represents the strength of that ocean. And I feel like when I talk about him, it's one of those things like he absolutely has the strength, as do you, Sagittarius, but it's one of those things you may be reluctant to put the strength in here to rise up to that occasion. But, when you do, spectacular things are going to happen. And I feel like it's one of those things, realize that, because with the Star coming up here, I feel like you're getting that understanding, or at least if we're here, maybe this will help you start kind of seeing that understanding. So hopefully I caught you early enough. But because this card it's about clarity, it's a card of hope, realizing realizing the star that you are. And honestly too, it can be for unexpected help. So maybe this could be something too, while we're getting, if we have things we're waiting on, or if we're not sure about where to go, maybe bounce some ideas off of people, see where we're going with, see if we can get some advice to maybe kind of help move these things along. If it has to deal with some kind of contract or anything, if it's within your control, definitely maybe we can get someone else to maybe kind of help move this along. But even then, knowing that, and I say when it's in your control, but even if you can't control this, like the paper, the legality, all of that stuff, we can still control our feelings. Because you know what? What's going to come at the end of all of this, no matter where we're stuck, if we keep this hope and get that clarity, look what's going to happen. You're going to get that win, get that Chariot. And we're going to get to that place of Zen, because I love the Chariot in this deck, because most of the decks, I feel like in other decks, the Chariot is going off, or at least the images are showing them going somewhere. So it can almost be a little daunting. It's like, wait, I'm in this and there's going to be some more before I get there. But this one is just like giving you just like a preview of what's about to come. We're going to get to that place of Zen, get to that place of calm, that victory, that triumph, just like, yes, yes. And then I really feel like too, when you do get to this place, because you will, I absolutely feel that you will. None of this stuff, this indecision and all of that waffling, it's not permanent. Life, that's the beauty of life. It's constantly changing. But when you get to that place of change, appreciate where you're at for a second. Make sure that we're taking that time, because this is a bigger win that I even think you just leveled up here when we get to this finish line. And I want you to just take a minute to appreciate, look back on this journey. Remember when you didn't want to rise up to it, but you kept that faith, you kept trying. That's where I feel like the Chariot really wants us. That's how you get the most out of, I feel like, a Chariot moment. It's not even just about getting that win. It's getting that win and then realizing what you've won. Not just the solution to the nature of your problem, but now the growth that has come from this too, because look, look, you got the Ten of Cups here. You got the Magus card and the Fortune card. Look at what you've done. And you know what? Because now we're starting. We're cooking now, Sagittarius. And I know how cruel right as we're starting to cook. But I wanted to bring up too, while it's kind of relevant. But could be the energies. The moon is definitely on one. We'll talk about that later. Or could be reading too much into it. But I like to feel that I've been feeling a shift the last few weeks from when I started this to where we're at now. And I feel like you all are starting to trust me a little more and starting to open up to me. Because the thing with this stuff here, this is not like stuff I'm laying out for you. This is the energy that you brought here for me, for us to work through this together. So I just want you to know that you are in a safe space, and that I see you, I feel your energy, and that I'm not going to take this for granted, because it is, I do appreciate you letting me into this space. So, and letting me into this Ten of Cups energy, because wowza. Right. See, I told you I wasn't going to leave. See, weren't you glad we waited? Because now we're fulfilled. Now we've not just won, we're just reveling in it. And I do want you to revel a little bit. Balanced, be balanced, always forever balancing. But go ahead and celebrate that win while we got it. Come on, I'm not going to tell you to not. And you know what? While you're celebrating that win, this is a good time to enjoy yourself, and then that'll bring about maybe some more inspiration. We can keep this this Ace of Wands energy cooking. Just moving just one burner. Okay, we cooked up a beautiful Chariot here. Now we're building up some Ace of Cups. Don't ask me how you do this in fire. It's you're magical. And then, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Now I'm really excited for you. The Magus. The Magus is a card of manifestation, and this is a great time for it. But this is your card of manifestation. Come on, Justin, spit it out. A card of wisdom, a card of skills, and I really feel like this is the stuff that you've accumulated from this energy here, from this lessons. That's what you're doing here. And to remember that in all of this, while you're figuring out this stuff, how to sprinkle a little bit of fun in that. Because the one thing I love about this card is how joyful that this person's face is while they're manifesting stuff. And it's just manifest. Right now we're just manifesting some small things. We're getting a feel for it. But it's so much fun, especially I feel like he breathes in an air of just this newness and excitement that's really cool. I love the Magus card. And what better thing than to manifest next than some fortune? Manifest that fortune. That was your slot machine winning. But with the fortune, I will say it's one of those things in which I really don't need to tell you this, but it is one of those things that you got to go out and get it. It's just how I had to pull this card. Fortune just doesn't fall out of the sky, unfortunately. But we can find a way to make, you know, when you've manifested this fortune, we can maybe find a way to at least expand it so that this permeates to our inner, like in our world, and then, you know, we're increasing that vibration of our soul tribe and really doing some good work. So yeah, that's what I'm. Oh, look at, come on, hold on, look at, because your perspectives are very fortunate as well. Hold on, you're not done. Because look at, we're bringing some Three of Wands energy. Now we're into, yeah, perspectives. You got some Eight of disc energy, and then we got 10 of disc. Woo woo. I know it's gonna be sound effect city. Leo got it too, so you're not alone. But with this Three of Wands, you know, I feel like while we're if we're in this place of just like of waiting, which you know, I get it, it blows, but you know, while we're thinking, while we're, if we're, you know, while we're in this place, just remember that just to, I really more so, this is a card of like virtue, keeping things that you hold near and dear to you, established strength. And you know what, the established strength can definitely apply here. You know, you're definitely going to need the strength for this. But this is another card too, another one of my hopeful cards, because this is a realization of hope, realizing that this isn't all, that this isn't forever, that there is always going to be balance. You know, when, just remember, whenever you have too much of stuff, you know, or for what you feel like is too much, that return is going to be just as big. You know, and everyone's varies. You know, don't compare yourself to you know, to anyone else. Everyone's journey is unique, but there is always going to be that balance. You know, okay, now we're on the high end of things, and it's like we get high, now it's time we got to balance out again. We got to get some more wisdom so that we can continue growing, not to bring us down, just so that when we get back to balance again, okay, we learned from this lesson, we're getting a little bit low, now let's bring it back up again. Look how wise you just got. Because that's what this card is about. What we just did there, because I'm living through you. What we just did there, that was Eight of disc at its finest. You know, really like practicing that adjustment, you know, taking what we've learned from the past and applying it to the future, because the thing is, you've been low before. We've been on one of these low, all of us. You know, this happens to the best of us, but it's a reminder too that this is just your higher self reminding that you are the best, you know, and that you have gone through this before. And sure, we might need to come at it a little bit differently, but what a great skill to pick up, because now, you know, you're like, oh, what a great skill to pick up. Now we're getting all sorts of wisdom and whatnot, because that's another thing too. He represents wisdom, if I didn't say that. And then look what happens with that wisdom. We're so prudent that just more, did we hit jackpot? 10 of disc. You got me on one, Sagittarius. Look at this. 10 of disc. We've, now this is exactly, thank you for that. Thank you for taking my advice and taking that fortune and letting it permeate, because I definitely got some of that. And this is my thing too. If we're looking for resources and all that, absolutely. Because when you're in a good place, and of course your world is going to reflect that. You're going to start doing more things you love, and then the wealth starts coming in. But I like to, with not to diminish the wealth, but I like to say with when we get into like the 9 and 10 of cups and disc, I almost kind of lump them in with just like, they're just my abundance pile. You know, whatever abundance is looking like for you in your journey. You know, not necessarily. Listen, that's not to say, because I gave you, because we're making it rain, and there were like 2 jackpots. Like, come on, we're not trying to take away from your fortune, but I do want to emphasize too that it's just whatever abundance looks like for you in that moment. Now, okay, I hope we had fun, because our higher self has some. Our higher self is going to bring us back to, and not in a bad way, but it just wants us to not get too wrapped up in this. Balance. Look at you. Your higher self is so smart. Because look, we got the Hanged Man here. You have the 2 of disc, and then the 7 of swords. All right, let's, I hear you, higher self. Let's balance out a little bit, because, ooh, that was fun. I don't know about you. And you know what? Yeah, no, never mind. Let's keep it going. Because with the Hanged Man, you know, this could be with your higher self popping this up. The Hanged Man is a card of redemption through sacrifice, or is a card of new perspectives. And I really feel like this is kind of my card of new perspectives. You know, that redemption through sacrifice. It's like, yeah, we can sacrifice some things, but really it's not necessary. I don't like to feel that it's more sacrifice. We're just going through these experiences to level up, you know. And that's all the Hangman wants us to do is level up and get some new, fresh perspectives. Because maybe with this energy here, you know, stepping away from like the legal aspect of it, you know, more so just like that sort of aimless energy, you know, maybe that's why you know, because I don't feel like we're in a hanged man situation per se, but just some fresh perspectives need to be delivered. I feel like this is sort of just like just like a soft kind of warning, not, you know, just like a, hey, you know, I see you out there getting it. You know, your intentions are great. I love where your you know, I love where your head's at. Absolutely. But I just want to make sure that we're not just, you know, we're not just going at this blindly, you know, that we are getting the most out of this fortune, because you do have just this, and this is really just overall energy in general, like just as us as a whole, there's some really big energy coming on right now. And so I feel like with your higher self coming up with this hanged man, you know, if you've been feeling like you've been kind of hitting a wall or something, I just think like your higher self just like, hey, you know, instead of hitting that wall, let's turn left. Or, you know what, let's turn right. Let's just see. Let's just see where our options have for us. Let's get used to this, because we were riding that gravy train for a minute, Sagittarius. But it's not all about the fortune here, because this is the two of this. This is Jupiter and Capricorn. Jupiter is your ruler. It's about that, and it's exalted in Cancer. Look at this energy. We're bonding. But let me tell you what this is about. The two of disc is about, you know, just being okay with that, or yeah, being okay with that ebb and flow of life. You know, having that fun, riding that fortune train, and then also dealing with the work that it takes to get to that fortune train, because it does. You know, like I had said, fortune doesn't just fall out of the sky. I mean, you made it fall out of the sky for me, which is really great, but you know, for us in particular, it's like we have to do it for others, you know, if that makes sense. But I really feel like with this card here too, you know, it's like it's remembering, you know, that there's that work that's going to come with this fortune, but ultimately we want to get where the adjustment card is happy, is right in this is the sweet spot right there, right in between these two, where we're find that balance. That's the game here, and not even that balance, really just more so that harmony, you know, that because I feel like harmony, and not that there's anything wrong with being balanced, but I feel like harmony just gives it a more sort of like we're working together, kind of like a softer coming to of energies. And also, I know this is yeah, your higher self is dropping some mindfulness bombs right now, because with the Seven of Swords here, this is a card of you know, lack of energy due to exhaustion. You know, really, this is my burnout card, and I feel like I feel like all of these are just like really just very soft caveats. You know, just like, hey, you know, you've been really kind of cranking it. You know, we got some, because like I said, you got some big stuff coming here. You know, but let's make sure we're not doing too much. You know, because you know how I can get sometimes when I'm doing the most. But you know, we don't want to be doing that. We want to not doing the most to where we're burning ourselves out. We're just like, oh, where we hit a wall, where we're like Knight of Swords, or excuse me, Knight of Cups, where it's like, oh, this is not even any fun anymore. I was spreading abundance for a while, but now I'm over it. And we don't want to get to that place. We want to make sure that we're still enjoying everything that we're doing. You know, I feel like that's a good time to let's switch back over. Hey, but I do feel like with all this that you have working coming to you right now, just be mindful that this does take a lot out of us, channeling all of this stuff, and you know, doing all that manifesting. We're getting into our Magus, producing that fortune, even finding that harmony. That does take a lot of energy, you know, even away from what you're even trying to focus this into. So just be mindful of that. Let's be intentional with how we're expending our energy, and I feel like everything is going to be gravy. Gravy. All right. Yeah, I feel like we can go ahead and leave that there. I, I hope that resonated with, really I want to resonate with all of you, but I definitely hope that resonated with some of you. So do all the YouTube things. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, tell all your friends. And to, you know, for a little bit of clarity, kind of help you get through this, check your moon, check your rising, because, some of you, we might have some Cancer. Oh, wow, hadn't even just, wow, hold on. It hadn't even dawned on me. Your ruler showed up. I think you showed up for yourself last week, and now your ruler showed up for yourself this week. Sagittarius, the stars are aligning. But check your moon, check your rising. I would love to tell you to check your Jupiter on the low key, but we're checking our North Node today. North Node. Why would I do that when I can check my Jupiter? Well, because we already talked about Jupiter. And the North Node popped up on Celestial News Weekly. So listen. With Celestial News Weekly. I'm telling everybody this. I'm still bringing that big energy. We're still Ace of Wandsing because I love Celestial News Weekly. But I need at least 4 more arms to do all these hand gestures, at least what I picture, or that I'm going to have to start doing cartwheels, flips, and we're going to lose our message. So I'm still bringing big energy, still super excited, just we're turning the hand signs down a little bit because I was like, wait, how long am I going to be doing this? Hopefully indefinitely. So, yeah. Nature of my problem. Let me just tell you why, and let me tell you why I'm on one. Because there's going to be a total full moon lunar eclipse on the 8th. I was talking about your ruler. Look at what my ruler's doing. It's some, big stuff going on. Did I say it's on the 8th? Because it's on the 8th. And what full moons just mean, where'd you go? Manifestation. It is about that release and that manifesting this stuff. So this is what I'm saying. When you got all this going on here, Sagittarius, once you've found that balance, trust your gut. You're gonna know when that time is right, and I really feel like things are just gonna abundance, abundance. And in the meantime, with the eclipses just mean in general they can throw some curveballs at us at this time. So this could be partway too while we're in this weird state, throwing Mars retrograde on the mix. Things kind of slow down some. So we might have been if anything, you might have been kind of hot in coming in, and now it's just like, ow, like that, just like curveball. Thanks, universe. Moving on. Yeah. We're curveballs. And last thing, I just want to emphasize just how magical I really feel like this is going to be, because it's like the moon's going to be in Taurus, which the moon is exalted in Taurus. Taurus is about living you want to talk about and Taurus might take some notes from you because you are living lavishly, or at least you're about to produce some of that abundance. And it's in the 11th house. It's in the 11th house. So, some challenges. Thank you, higher self. We're sobering up again. You might see some challenges in our goals, in our objectives, and even our friendships, and how we fit into each other, and how we're fitting in a group. So, just something to keep in mind of that. This isn't just random. Not to say that and I don't do this to tell you that this is the law, you got to follow this. This is what the energies are doing, you got to do it. But it's just something to think about, something to play around with. See how the energies work with you. Do you notice that? Just trust your intuition, never force it. North Node. Why would I even bring up this North Node? It kind of lines up. It really kind of lined up nicely because the North Node is going to be in the same realm that the moon's going to be in, as far as it's in the same house, same sign. And this is it's known as the dragon's head, which is sick. But the North Node indicates some goals that or some what is it? Sorry, I'm still. It shows the work that needs to be done in this lifetime. That, or any new faculties or skills or anything that we might need to assist in just going through this journey. And I'll talk about, there's a South Node. That's kind of like our karma. I'll talk about that next week, probably. But, yeah, I figured, being in this place, especially with the nature of your problem, not quite sure where to go, if that's resonating with you, this might help too. This might help bring some kind of some fresh perspectives that you might need. That because mine's in Capricorn, my North Node placement, and I know enough about Capricorn, but figuring out how that applies to this journey, it is interesting, and like how to factor that kind of stuff in. It really does help kind of give you just a better shape and give you just a bigger picture of what's going on. So hopefully that helps. Now, one more, I just got to talk about the moon one more time. I should really just lump that in all together, but I just wanted you to get a break because I know that can be, I'm not kidding. It's the most. Void of course. What is void of course? If you haven't heard of it, it's a period of time where the moon kind of just wanders in between sign to sign. Where it's wandering to, I mind my own business. The moon minds her own business. We got a great relationship. It's one of those things, it's just what the moon does. And what it's doing, the moon travels within each sign it stays about roughly 2.5 days in each sign. And during that period, that transitory period, it's just kind of doing its own thing, just kind of taking a break. It's just like, oh, okay, I just came out of this sign. Okay, I got to put on my face for Sagittarius. I'm ready. That's something I feel. Yeah, I like that. I like that we came to. Thanks for that. Thanks for helping me out. But let me tell you what this time is about. This is a time for recharging, for just hang out. We're just hanging out. Time for kind of recharging, for quiet introspection, just doing some hanged man stuff. Just doing really thinking about where we want to go to next. Where we see the direction of this vessel going. And it's also too, and again, this is why I was saying kind of play around with the energy, because it can be a time too where sometimes meetings and things like that, just any kind of plans tend to either be kind of more subject to change or just could fall through altogether. So just something to observe while you're going through this week. It's going to happen twice. On the 9th between 6 a.m. and 7:36 a.m., so about an hour 36 minutes, and then on the 11th, it'll be doing that from 4:28 p.m. to 6:21 p.m. Yes, and that's going to be a little under 2 hours. So just kind of play around with your energy. If you have that kind of time, make it work for you. All right, a couple aspects, and I'm gonna get you out of here. The sun is going to be conjunct with Mercury, and just during this week. And during this time, it's like shining a light on our mental processes. So, this is an ideal time for, right before we get to that void of course, if you need to get any meetings or anything scheduled up, this is a great time. Meetings, negotiation, contracts. This could also be too. Maybe this will help move, for us stuck in legal world, this might even help us move that along as well. So, and one thing is, if you didn't have enough in this news, I wanted to add something too when I talk about the aspects. I always talk about my gem friends here all the time, but let me tell you how they assist us in this energy. Because some good ones to work with during, and if that's your thing, try it out. See how you feel. Some good ones to work with during this time. Good old sunstone, good old quartz. Good way to channel that energy. Now, excuse me. Okay. Mercury is going to be in opposition with the North Node. Yeah, it can totally do that. And with this happening, it's going to be a time where if you've been feeling like you got like a whole lot of ideas, you've been feeling real prolific and just want to start cranking things out, it might feel like the timing doesn't quite seem to line up, or things just seem to we're not in sync with the world. And every time you present stuff, maybe it's been met with criticism, and well, maybe you should think about changing this and maybe do that, and then do a flip, and then blah blah blah. I feel like with this energy, it's less about getting caught up in that, and more so just kind of remembering what I tell you at the beginning. If take what resonates with you when it comes to receiving constructive criticism. Take what resonates with you, leave the rest with them, and everything's going to be fine. We don't even need to fight, because it's just like, because remember, we're not fighting, it's Mars retrograde. So if you have been met with that, just kind of go out with, oh, I hadn't thought about that. That's something, that's definitely something I'll put on my list. And in that way, you're not a liar. You did put it on your list. Just when you get into it, you're getting to it when it's relevant. So don't force it. And a good crystal, that good old Quartz again. Quartz is working hard, doing some good work. Lastly, Venus is going to be squared with Saturn. And this is going to be, again, another time kind of like checking in with our relationships, you know, who to let in, who to open up to, and a good time to kind of establish some, or either establish or reestablish some boundaries. You know, if there's been, if there has been any sort of like weirdness, you know, and this is a good time too, because I remember like the prior week, we were talking about just all this good kind of coming together, really bonding, doing some deep, no more superficial kind of relationships. We're really doing some deep, meaningful relationships. You know, I feel like this is a good time to kind of establish those boundaries. And I need to make 2 new friends, but some crystals to work with would be opal or onyx. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that, Sagittarius. I always love doing the news, so it ain't going nowhere. But let me get your stuff. Ooh, all right. Princess of Cups is showing up today. This was, you know what? Some of you, and that's so funny. I should have said this in Virgo's reading, nature their problem, but I was getting some feeling that they pulled a lot of Sagittarius cards, so maybe some of you might have, you might want to check out Virgo's reading as well. But, oh, let me talk about this Princess of Cups. So with the Princess of Cups, she's my card of generosity. And I feel like with her popping up, and that's so funny. I was just saying, I hadn't seen her all week. And now she's just like, hey. But with the Princess of Cups, I do feel like, you know, while we're going through this period, you know, if we've been feeling stagnated, been feeling really frustrated, just been feeling like we've been giving, not getting anything back. That's what the Princess of Cups does. She gives, and then she forgets to give to herself sometimes. You know, make sure to refill her cup so that she can go out and keep doing that good work, because as a whole, I love what the Princess of Cups does. Because she wants what you just did for me. That's why she came up. Like how you did that, how you dropped that fortune in my sphere. You know, I love that. And that's what the Princess of Cups does. But make sure you're doing that for yourself too. Absolutely. Pour all that love and that compassion and all of that into yourself as you would for everyone else. We're gonna be gravy. So, yeah, I'll leave that there. Yeah, let's go out there, keep raising that vibration, stay safe, and I will catch you on the next one later.